Hey, it's Andrei. I've been thinking about yo-yo dieting because that's something that I do a lot. You see, I go on a diet, I lose some weight, and then something happens that throws me out of the routine and I get back to overeating. And usually what happens is that I experience a binge eating episode. I stress eat. I try to cope with this stress by eating. It's not that I feel stress and I eat, but I feel stress and it builds up inside me and I start to feel the urge to do something about this stress. And what makes me feel less stressed is eating. When I eat, I feel great. I feel comfortable because I eat comfort foods. I eat chocolate, I eat chips and other things that are ultra processed foods. These are comfort foods and it's very easy to binge on them because they're always available. You don't have to cook, right? You just open the packaging and you can eat chocolate, right? So it's a very bad thing that keeps happening in my life and keeps me from losing weight. So I need to do something about this stress eating, about my binge eating, so that this doesn't happen anymore, so I can actually lose weight, right? So I identified a few triggers, that trigger my binge eating episodes. One is, of course, stress that I've already talked about. The other one are birthday parties, right? Whenever I see a cake or someone brings pizza to work, I eat because I simply love this kind of food. So I cannot say no to it. And I overeat or binge eat when I want to procrastinate on things that I don't want to do. Because eating makes me feel good and doing things that I don't want to do make me feel bad, right? So it's obvious that I binge. And even if I'm successful at keeping these urges away, so even if these urges come and I say no and don't overeat, then when I get home, at night, I open the cabinet and I find chocolate and I overeat. And the problem is that this is not just one episode. Once I do this, all hell breaks loose, right? Now I can't stop anymore. The next day is the same, I keep overeating because, there's always the next day that I will start again. And this needs to end. So I've been looking for ways to solve this problem, and I'm going to give you these ideas that I got. So maybe this can help me, and if you have the same problems, this may help you as well. So here they are. Whenever I feel this urge to binge, I have to ask myself, am I really hungry? Or do I just want to indulge in these ultra-processed foods? Would I eat something that I don't like, right? So if the answer is no, then this means that I'm not really hungry, right? So this is another question to ask yourself. Would I eat this food that I don't like right now? Because if I would, it means that I'm probably really hungry. But if I don't want to eat it, then I'm not hungry, right? So usually this thinking process should stop the urge to binge, right? However, what if it doesn't? Well, in that case, I've decided to drink a glass of water and go for a 10-minute brisk walk. And this is another way to pull yourself away from the situation that triggers, the urge to binge, and gives your mind some clarity, right? So this 10-minute walk and a glass of water that makes you a little bit more full. And this is another way to stop the urge. And this is something that I will use if the first questions don't work, right? Now, what if I can't go for a walk or drink a glass of water right now? Well, in that case, there is an exercise that helps you center yourself. It's called grounding, right? And what you do is you try to center yourself by thinking about all the things that you see around yourself, things that you hear around yourself, and the things that you smell around yourself, right? So when you think about all these things and you try to name these things that are happening around you, you focus your mind on something that is real and it's happening right then and there, and it helps you focus your mind on that and away from this urge to overeat on something that is not healthy for you. So these are 3 methods that I'm going to use to deal with my binge eating episodes. Now, what if this also doesn't work? What if the urge is still there and I still want to eat something bad? Well, in that case, I will eat. But I will eat behind the table, right? And I will try to have some portion control. I will try to eat a little bit of this food that is ultra processed and not good for me, right? And I will eat it slowly. I will enjoy it. And I will not beat myself up because of it. I will just make it in my mind that this is now a meal, right? Just another meal in this day. And I will try to not overeat on it so that I don't overconsume calories, right? Because that wouldn't be beneficial, right? But if I do consume 200, 300, maybe 400 extra calories, I will not beat myself up because it wouldn't make sense. Because if I capitulated, right? If I decided that I've lost now, that the day is lost, it would mean that I would get back home and I would open the cabinet and I would take out the chocolate, chips and other things, and I would overeat again and I would overconsume calories even more, and that would be very bad. And that would take me out of my mindset of losing weight, right? Now I would start thinking the day is lost, there's nothing I can do about it, let's binge, right? And this is something that happened way too often, and I want to stop this to not happen again. And this way of thinking that this is just one meal that will not break my day, and it's just a meal and I will continue normally from now on, then I can deal with that, right? Then I don't have to binge again at night, right? I don't have to open the cabinets, first go out of bed and look for food, right? For comfort food. So yeah, the day will not be lost, and I will not be thinking about the next day is the next day that I start again, and then again the next day and the next day and the next week and the next Monday and then the next month and so on. This is something that I have experienced way too much, and I don't want to experience anymore because I know that it is holding me back. My weight loss is way slower. Most of the time I gain everything back, and I don't want this to happen again. So now these are the tools that I will use. So if I recap, first ask yourself, am I really hungry? Would I really eat something bad, something that I don't like right now? If the answer is no, then I'm not hungry. So it means I don't eat. Now, if the urge is still there, I drink a glass of water and go for a 10-minute brisk walk. If this is not possible, or if it still doesn't work, I try to ground myself, to center myself by naming the things that I see and hear and smell around me, right? So this is the third thing that I can do. And if this still doesn't work, then I sit behind the table. I don't eat standing. I sit down. I make a portion of the food that I would like to eat right at that moment, and I eat a small portion, and I judge the calories or measure it if I can, and continue with my day as if nothing really happened. And that's it. That's how I will try to deal with my binge eating episodes. Now, in the next video, I will share with you my first week results, and I really hope that they will be good, right? 1 week progress. This time, I think I have it. So, see you in the next video.